she and I have been, as I've mentioned before, we've been watching a ton of Simpsons. Like, it's like, I gotta tell you, EJ, it's like one of the joys of my entire life is being, because when I was a kid, the whole, like, I don't know if you remember, like 6:30 to 8 was Simpsons on Fox.
There was like yeah, it was great.
It was great. And so the sounds of like the Simpsons just through the house during dinner time, like as homework was winding down, it's just such a part of my evenings. And it's like, it's back. It's like, and we watch, it's not, sometimes she'll kind of like focus too much on one or two episodes of a thing she likes. She'll watch we're watching Whacking Day. We're watching, Lisa the Sitter. We're watching everything. And anyway, I remembered that I had a hardcover kind of children's book of The Simpsons. It was the first episodes, the Christmas one.
Yeah. Because like the first season of The Simpsons was like a huge, crazy.
It was like heavily marketed.
It was phenomenon. It was heavily marketed. Yeah. I remember that. Like it wasn't even, and there were certain things that were different from the episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's like a really cool, well laid out book where there's speech bubbles. So it's like part comic, part narrative. It's got like a little tiny graphics of the characters that are speaking, and it's got like full page, like, for dramatic effect, like when Homer's like downtrodden about not getting his bonus, they do like a 2-page, like him just with his head hung low. It's really nice. And she shined to it, and I read the whole thing. And of course, I don't know about your kids, but like we do Halloween and Christmas crap all year long, Valentine's Day stuff. Like, holiday stuff can come anytime at this age.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was not weird to like break out a Christmas book at the moment. But
we have a Valentine's book and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I think a couple years ago, I was reading The Night Before Christmas like all throughout summer. But the tornado, just to wrap up the tornado story, the tornado ended up being fine. So I was right all along. I didn't need to go into the basement, but we all like huddled into the hallway underneath the stairs in the basement and like slept for like an hour until like the tornado warning passed, and then everyone went back up into their beds. But it was
you were fine, but Flanders' house was leveled.
Yeah. Exactly.
Look, Mommy, Todd's stupid and I'm with him. And now Mommy's stupid. That's got one of the best moments when Flanders freaks out on everybody. And I think probably one of the funniest things ever in Simpsons is when he gets to Moe and he goes, "You ugly, hate-filled man." And Moe says, hey, I might be ugly and hate-filled, but what's the third thing you said? That show. It's so defined by its wit. Like it's, Family Guy and South Park, they have a lot going for them, but not like it's the sharpness of classic Simpsons.
Yeah, and it's something that, even like the modern Simpsons doesn't really do, because there was like, because like the frame was filled with jokes. There'd be like signs that had really awesome jokes that you wouldn't even notice until like the 5th time you watched it.
Even just something as fun, like remember the Christmas episode where the department store they go to is Try and Save? It's such a perfect joke. It is so short and it is so packed with funny. Try and Save.
Yeah.
We were watching the one when Homer gets Bart gets a new dad and Homer gets a new son, just to kind of like get revenge on each other. And and it was all because Homer forgot to pick up Bart, and Bart was pissed off about it. And this just like, I don't know, this rang so true. It was so relatable, and I feel like I'm going to be quoting it for a while. But Homer's in the car, Bart's pissed off at him, and Homer goes, "Look, we could spend the whole car ride trying to remember who forgot to pick up who until we're blue in the face. Why don't we just admit that we're both wrong and move on with our lives?" Just sit here and try to remember who didn't pick up who. I love it. Well, speaking of just to wrap up Simpsons, Simpsons video games have a kind of a rich, interesting history, don't they? Starting with the Konami beat 'em up, which is, I think everybody would agree, is awesome, and also kind of obscure in the sense that it never got a home console release. It's only now getting an arcade 1-up treatment, which is amazing.
It's getting re-released as that, and it's kind of a funny game in its own right because it was made so early on.
It didn't make good use of like the characters that you would have like way more Simpsons lore in a modern version. In fact, they for mobile they did make a spiritual successor to it that like plays a lot like. In fact, what I have it here. What's it called? It's called. It needs to be updated. It's called The Simpsons Arcade.
Oh wow!
But it is not The Simpsons Arcade.
It's a new version,
but it's very much based on it. You fight those businessmen and stuff. But yeah, I think they try to incorporate it. It sort of plays similarly, but not nearly as well. It's not nearly as charming. It's like a Flash kind of sort of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it was on Xbox 360 on Xbox Live. Other than that, Pizza Hut was all the only way you could play it. Which is really a shame because it is such like a great relic of the 90s and of like retro video games and Konami, what made a great Konami beat 'em up. But
that arcade was at Interstate 91, which is a skate of you'd get rollerblades and you'd skate around in a circle, and they would have the Simpsons arcade, and it was right next to Big Bertha. Do you remember Big Bertha?
Yes.
It's where you like throw like food into her fucking mouth.
Yes.
Just a big fat person that you threw food into her mouth.
There you go, Bertha.
What a weird thing.
Wasn't the big fish that tries to eat you up in Mario 3 called Big Bertha? And didn't they then also have a character in the Mario Brothers movie that was like a big fat stripper who was also Big Bertha?
Yeah, I don't remember much about Mario 1993 movie, but yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, that'd be fun if when they eventually do come out with this Netflix movie, it'll be called. We'll refer to it as Mario 93. Right now, we're not doing that. Right now, it's Mario Bros. The movie.
Yes.
But anyway, so that was a great game. And then I know I actually don't have experience with the more modern Simpsons game, like Simpsons Hit and Run. And there was a Simpsons like Xbox game at some point that people really liked. I'm not familiar with those.
Yeah, there was one that was like kind of a ripoff of Crazy Taxi.
That's the Hit and Run one, I think. Yep.
Oh, that's Hit and Run, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was one that was like a Grand Theft Auto ripoff.
Right. Oh, maybe that's what it. Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but the point is that there are some good ones that people really like, and then there's like the mobile ones like Tapped Out and stuff. But when I was a kid, I always wanted to play home console Simpsons games. And the problem is that without exception, they were all fucking horrible. All of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The one I'm thinking of is the mutant one, right? Bart
versus the Space Mutants. And then there was Bart's Nightmare. And then there was Bart
versus the World.
Versus the World, Radioactive Man. They all look bad. They play bad. Some of them were for the Master System and for Game Gear. They're just all bad. Like there was one, is Versus the World the NES one? There's an NES one. They're all really bad. They look bad. They play bad. It's all a terrible sham and a shame. But I had one that I didn't hate when I was a kid. And I never really heard people talk about it. It was I think the more prominent version of it was the Super Nintendo version, but I had it on Sega Genesis, and it was called Virtual Bart. Have you ever heard of or played Virtual Bart?
I definitely heard of it, but I never played it.
So to be real, I can't really defend this game. It's not great, but I think it's much more playable than any of those other ones, like considerably more, and with more Simpsons charm built in. So the conceit, it's really 6 mini games or 6 kind of levels, I guess. Like, not mini games in like a WarioWare or Mario Party sense, but mini games as in like there's kind of a full game where you play as Bart as a baby, Bart as a pig, Bart as a dinosaur, and they're like kind of very, very long levels, but the idea is you have to beat all 6 and then you win the game. And it probably takes about, I don't know, if you were really good at it, probably takes like 50 minutes to do the whole thing. But it's hard, of course, because it's that era. I think the artwork in it is quite good. There's cutscenes that are funny and kind of have like a Simpsons wit to them. But yeah, the idea is that he is at the Springfield Elementary Science Fair. He volunteers to be part of a virtual reality machine that some kid built, and then you play the levels. And the virtual reality connection is tenuous, because then you're just playing a video game from there. But yeah, it has the voice actors like Dan Castellaneta doing Homer, and it all sounds good and looks pretty good. So I hadn't played it in a while, and when I was a kid, though, I used to like. I have fond memories of being in like 4th grade and rocking through that whole game. So I'll tell you each level. One is you're on it's like a sprite scaling. Sega Lord X would love it. At first, I thought Virtual Bart was going to play like the rest of this ass, but I must say I was pretty impressed. And it blew me away for the first time. And I was not let down.
You play with a few of your friends.
My uncle let me play this, and let me tell you, I was impressed right from the jump. I watch a lot of this guy.
I love him, but he's got his things that he says.
We're really just performing for Drunken Monk because he's the only one who gets this joke. Because he's pretty impressed. It's like a sprite scaling. Bart is in the Mad Max post-apocalyptic thing, and it's a motorcycle race, and you just have to ride for like 10 minutes without dying. Basically, you're racing against like the bully characters. They're on their own like tractors and dirt bikes and stuff. So there's that one. There's one where it's class picture day at Springfield Elementary, and you have to throw tomatoes at each kid, but not hit the adults. And then they do retakes, and you got to do the same thing with eggs. So you throw it at Milhouse, Nelson, Terry and Cherry, etc. And then there's one where you're a Bart pig in a like sausage factory, and you have to like save all the pigs and save yourself from death and fight off like the evil executives trying to make all the sausages or something. That one sucks. One where he's a dinosaur and the Simpsons family are cavemen. That one I think is one of the better ones. I mean, it plays like a platformer, and the Simpsons characters are all there. Like Barney Gumble is there as a caveman, and he's like, oh, wagga, wagga, wagga. This makes me laugh. Or Krusty's there, and he's going, oh, ooga, ooga. So there's that one, and then there's what else? Your Bart is a baby, where he can only swing on stuff because he can't like walk. So you have to kind of like bounce your way through like a circus level and stuff. That one's really complicated. And then a water park one where you're going down a giant water slide and you have to like route through it successfully. And if you don't, like you land into like, if you go down the wrong pipe, it's Homer's giant ass like stuck in the water in the tube, and he does his very funny yelp. So it's like a pretty funny game, and it doesn't always play very well. It's kind of clunky. It's by Acclaim. I feel like Acclaim made a lot of crap games around that time.
Oh yeah, they pumped out a ton of stuff.
A Konami, they were not. A Sunsoft, no. A Capcom, they were not.
No.
They did. I remember they did. Did they do that like Batman Forever game? That really bad Batman Forever game. I think they did like the South Park N64 game. They did a lot of bad games.
Yeah, but I mean, because they did do the port of like Mortal Kombat and stuff too.
Yeah. But at least that was a port of a good game.
Yeah.
I think they did sport. They had like Acclaim Sports maybe or something. There was like some sports games.
There was a lot of Acclaim games, yes.
But I played through this with Gloria. She just watched me and enjoyed the fact that it was Simpsons with me. But yeah, it was a good time. If you're looking for a retro Simpsons game on a home console, for some reason you can't play the arcade one, Virtual Bart will do you in a pinch, I think.